We have to love people all the time, everywhere. It's a created awareness of the surroundings and the people around us that we would begin to love them.
Robby, let's be practical. How does that look in someone's life?
Yeah, it's going to the same places at the same time to see the same people. Maybe you frequent a coffee shop and you go there. I like coffee, so you go there and you foster relationships with people. It's getting to know people. It's getting to develop a relationship with people. And I would ask our church members, how many people are you fostering relationships with? A better question is, how many unbelievers do we know? You know, in Christian life, we can be so secluded from the world. We go to Christian schools, we go to Christian colleges, we have Christian marriages, we have Christian baptism, we go to Christian services, Christian Sunday schools, that we can get so secluded from the world that we really don't have many unbelievers who are our friends. And Jesus would say to us, we need to go to the lost. Well, how do we do that next? Well, Jesus tells us, we need to go to where people are. Remember in Acts chapter 1, verse 8, Jesus is about to ascend into heaven, and he gives the disciples this interesting command. He says, but you will receive power when the Holy Spirit has come upon you, and you will be my witnesses in Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and to the ends of the earth. Now, he wanted the disciples to start in Jerusalem. And you know, we talk a lot, John, about going over to the nations, but we forget we have to go to our neighborhoods first. You know, before we can go to the nations, we've got to walk across the street or walk down the street to visit someone and tell them about Christ. But then Jesus says, once you go in Jerusalem, your neighborhood, then go to Judea, which could be our state or the state you live in. Then go to Samaria, the hard places, which could be the country that we live in. But then he says, go to the ends of the earth. Now, I thought always what was interesting is the connecting word there is not or. You will be my witnesses in Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, or the ends of the earth. It's and. And I think as a believer, we need to be a part of the Great Commission to all four areas of the world.
How do you do that?
Well, Jesus gave us some interesting ways to do that. And I'll just tell you a personal story for me. I used to think that God was going to use me in an itinerant evangelistic ministry. And so I used to travel, much like you, around, and I would do these big crusades. And a couple years ago, I got asked to go to the Philippines. They wanted me to come to preach this huge youth crusade, and we did that. We got a place to be right in the middle of a high school and a college, and right at the time of the students coming out of class, we had a worship band playing, and then I was to get up and preach. And John, it was amazing. God's Spirit poured out upon that service. We saw almost in 2 days 1,000 people give their life to the Lord. Not because of me as a speaker, just the grace of God. And as I got off the stage, the Lord spoke to my heart, and God said to me, what are you going to do with the people who have made a decision for me? He said, will you help them grow in their faith? Who's going to follow up with these people? And as the lights turned off and as the sound equipment was picked up, God began to impress upon my heart the importance of discipleship and evangelism. John, I want you to hear what I'm saying here. We need gospel presentations. We need tracts. We need impromptu evangelistic outreach events. But we also need personal relationships, that every believer needs to be fostering these personal relationships. What would churches look like if all the believers were actively and intently about the business of developing relationships with people? Jesus showed us the example. He took 12 men and changed the course of history. John Wesley, the great revivalist, said this. He said, give me 50 men who hate nothing more than sin and love no one more than God, and I will turn the world upside down.